Hi
Hey.
guys, this is Anastasia, Art Marketing Muse, and I am here today with my friend Stephen Gilbert. And Stephen is an amazing musician. I've known Stephen in other aspects of life, not as a musician. And when I found out that he was a musician, I started listening to his work and I was completely blown away. What's really cool about Steven is that he's got over 3 million views on YouTube, and you can tell that music is his passion. And even though he's not a fine artist, he's still an artist. He's another creative living his passion. And so we're going to talk to Steven today about that.
I
So
like that. You'll have me anyway.
you're creative. So thanks for being here, Steven.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about your music. What does your music mean to you? What's your why?
So I've been playing the piano since I was a kid. I took lessons. One of those things that parents had us do: soccer and piano, and did lessons from age 5 until roughly age 12. So did lessons, learned how to play the piano, do all of the scales and the chords and everything like that, and start to learn classical music at a young age. And then after that, my parents were sort of left it up. I've got two sisters, so it was the same thing for all of us. Left it up to us, like, do you want to continue this? If you do, then what, keep playing, and if you don't, then don't. And I actually stopped playing until I was in college, so I took about 7 years off. And then I got to college, and college is kind of hard, and I was stressed a lot. And the basement of my dorm had just an old upright, and I found myself at 1 or 2 in the morning, having not finished my schoolwork, just going down there and playing the piano and having it be that stress relief and be something that was like rare solace in a few years of a lot of stress and late nights and anxiety and all of that. So it turned from something that I sort of had to do as a kid and didn't really like, to something that I absolutely had to do every day, or nearly every day, for my own mental sanity. So that's what it means to me. And then from age 19 till now, I'm 31, so it's been a number of years since then. It's really morphed into something different, where I've become more of a creator, and tried to get my work out there. Because back when I was in college, I wasn't really playing for anyone else, and now obviously I am. Like you said, I do have a YouTube channel that I think I have something like 75 videos on there, between 70 and 75. I'm not sure the last total, but yeah, a lot of videos up there now.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that because so many of us start our creative process for the process.
Mhm.
I also started art very young just because it was my way of dealing with a rough childhood. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love that that's where that place comes from for you. Let's talk
I
about
think
your
you.
YouTube channel for a second. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I think you see that with a lot of artists. I,
Yeah.
I, I don't think that many artists are just like, thought I'd do this.
Right.
It's more of a need, or the passion that comes from somewhere pretty important.
Yeah, I've wanted to get a T-shirt made that says, "I paint so I don't stab people."
Oh, I'd love that. I would buy one. I don't paint at all, but I would rock that shirt for sure.
Maybe it's, "I create so I don't stab people."
Yeah.
That's definitely me.
Yeah.
Um, your YouTube channel. So what made you
Mm.
start the YouTube channel?
Yeah. So when I was in college, so not long after this is actually before I started playing the piano a little bit more. I had a bad scare with a staph infection. I was a rower in college, and I got a badly infected crew blister, and spent almost 4 full days in the hospital trying to get the infection out of my system. And I didn't know this at the time, but supposedly this was an irrational fear. But the infection was crawling up my arm, and I thought I was going to have my arm amputated. It turns out later that was an unwarranted fear. But when I'm sitting at 17 years, 18 years old, in a hospital bed, you don't really know what's going on, and no one's telling you anything. So my fear was that I was going to lose my left arm.
Wow.
So once I got you know healed and everything like that, I was thinking about what aspects of my life would have been really, really different without my left arm. And obviously, there's a lot of things. Being right-handed, not as much as it would be losing my right. But the thing that I kept coming back to is that I would not be able to play the piano, and I missed, or not in the same way. And I missed playing. I hadn't played in a number of years, and that was part of it. That and also just the stress of college. Is like, I'm going to go back and start playing the piano again. And something that I did was, every so often I would come across a song that I wanted to learn. I would try to play it with just the left hand or just the right hand, because of that experience that I had. So the first song that I sat down and really tried to do and do well and write an arrangement of for Just the Left Hand was Wonderwall by Oasis. And I wanted to put it online, so I did. I recorded it and put it on YouTube, and it's very low quality. It was just one of those like old bad camcorders, no microphone at all. It was just in camera mic, and that was the start of the YouTube channel. And then after that, I was just like, oh, and it got a little bit of attention, not a lot, because it was a brand new YouTube channel and everything like that. But after that, I was like, oh, cool, maybe I can put my other goofy songs that I like learn how to do a Lil Wayne song, which I like playing hip hop on the piano, and I found that other people like hearing hip hop on the piano, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. And then I did more one handed pieces, and then some originals, and but it started with a badly infected rowing blister and thinking about life with one arm.
That's that's a great story.
That's my origin story. That's my YouTube origin story.
That's awesome. Tell me, I'm so impressed that you have over 3 million views on YouTube. Like that's a big deal in the YouTube world. How did
Thanks.
what's something that you did to drive traffic there? Like
Mhm.
how did you do that?
So early on, so I think the first that Wonderwall song, I think I put that back there in 2011 or 2012. So it was a number of years ago. So some of the avenues that people can use right now to drive traffic weren't around back then. But early on, I found that one of the things that I had to do was title the video correctly and create the right tags for it. And I didn't know. I mean, that was new to YouTube, so I had to find these things as I was going. So just the people that are searching for. So let's say that you wanted to learn how to play a piano song with just the left hand. Let's say specifically you wanted to play Wonderwall. You would probably type into YouTube or into a Google search Wonderwall Oasis left hand only piano. So you got to make sure like all of those tags are in there. Otherwise, somebody's not going to see that. If it's in your title, even better. You might put even left hand only piano cover, one hand only piano, one hand only piano cover. So make sure all of those are in the tags as well. And the nice thing is that that's not cluttering up your description or anything like that. It's just within your tags. So that was something that I learned early on. Make sure the tags are good and make sure the title is descriptive of what you're going to find in the video.
Right.
So that when somebody does search for it, they're gonna, like, hey, this is what I was looking for. I found it. I'm gonna hit the like button, maybe hit the subscribe button. All of those things are gonna help put
Right.
your video higher up on the search results and drive more people there.
That's great advice. That's something I think so many of us miss out on. I talk a lot about SEO or search
Hmm.
engine optimization because
Hmm.
you got to get found, right? And
Exactly. Yeah.
whether you want to make money or you don't, it doesn't matter. If
Right.
you want to be found, you have to figure out how to be found.
Hmm.
And with that, I like how specific you are. I remember when I used to sell my work on when I first started selling my work online, and I would tag it like cow painting or flower
Hmm.
painting. But what
Yeah.
was happening many times was I was getting other artists, not the people
Yes. Yeah.
looking, needing my art.
Hmm.
So you're literally going, left-handed
Hmm.
piano or song
Right.
with left hand, which I am very specific and kind of getting into the head of the person who would be looking for it. So
Who's looking for it? Right.
you're
Right.
essentially looking at your customer and saying how
Hmm.
would they search for
Yeah.
this. So I think that's amazing,
Mm.
terrific advice.
There's
um,
some other things that people did that I personally don't do, but I know is becoming a more popular thing. But creating a really nicely manicured a video display photo. I'm not entirely sure what you call it. So YouTube gives you the opportunity to like create artwork for your video. Um,
right.
icon, or just to choose a still from the middle of the video. I choose a still from the middle of the video. I'm lazy, and it's also descriptive of what you're going to find. It's something that, and I have heard from others that helps a lot. So if somebody's listening and wants to just, if you're searching through a big page of YouTube, the one that looks nice and maybe has a nice big smiling picture of you and a car or whatever it is that your video is about,
Right.
that's going to help as well. Personally, just something that I don't do, but it works on me when I go to watch a YouTube video. So I know that's another one.
No, that's great advice. I actually spoke to a videographer recently, and that was
Hmm.
one of the tips he gave me.
Hmm.
Because if it's all pictures of my face, it's not a draw, right? So
Oh,
there
I don't know about that. I think it probably is.
are nice. There is a free website called canva.com,
Oh,
and
nice.
you can make super quick, you can actually click on their template and
Mhm.
YouTube thumbnail is what it's called.
Yeah.
and you can pull their pictures for free and add
Ooh,
titles, and there you go.
I
So
might have to try that.
just check that out. That's something that I've started using for mine, and it's super
Cool.
simple, super easy,
Yeah.
and then you always have that template, and you can just build on
Mhm.
it. So,
Yeah.
um, tell me about how social media has played a role in driving traffic to
Mhm.
your YouTube video.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly just cross-platform promotion, if you want to call it that. I'm on most of the major social media, and for different social media that has different functions for me. So Facebook is family and friends. Instagram, I like photography and nature and travel. So most of my Instagram is it's not pictures of me; it's pictures that I've taken. My Twitter is mostly for baseball because I'm a huge baseball fan. But I found that people that either have gotten to know me or have similar interests in other parts of life also wanted to view this. And also with something like Twitter, you can actually access the artists themselves sometimes too. And if you get a response or a retweet from one of them, that's huge. I've only ever had that once, and that was from Imagine Dragons. And it wasn't from what you thought. It was actually over a copyright dispute. That's a story for another day. But it did actually drive a lot of people to the video. Anyway, I'm off topic here, but yeah, just throwing that out there. So right now, I wrote a an original song that I recorded yesterday, and I put most of the song on my Instagram story, which again is mostly photographers and other travelers, but. It did drive a lot of people there because they're like, "Oh, this is Steven, and we're used to him from cityscapes and mountain. We didn't know he played the piano. This is kind of cool, and I can actually see that in YouTube's real time analytics where the viewership comes from, and it is surprising to see that. And this is maybe a little bit sad, but I think my family and friends kind of already know what I'm about. Pretty much no one on my Facebook like watches my videos anymore. But strangely enough, like Twitter and Instagram, there's people who don't know that I do that. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go click on this," So I'm getting more traffic from strangers than I am family and friends now
Right.
because they've been used to me bothering them with 75 piano videos over the past decade. So they're like, okay, yeah, we get it. There's another one.
I talk to a lot of people about this, not just on social media, but life
Mhm.
in general. Like everywhere's an opportunity. And so
It's
I
true.
carry a business card with me from with my artwork. And
Mm.
I can't tell you how many people I've sold artwork to that I've met on airplanes.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Because
Yeah.
we start talking and they're like, "What do you do for a living?" And
Mhm.
I'm like, "Here's my card." And whether it's on social media, you're talking about baseball, but how many
Mhm.
baseball fans also love music?
A
So
surprising number of them do. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's great to understand that you don't have to put yourself in a box
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
that there's always opportunities out
Mhm.
there. And I love the way that you're still promoting yourself without really trying to promote yourself, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's
But
awesome.
and it's also out of general curiosity if other people share my interest in trying to learn a song by ear and play it on the piano, or learn a song with one hand, or create an original piece, which those are my three types of videos that are on my channel. So like finding friends from, or even just internet friends that I've never met in real life, and they're like, "Oh, you're a guitarist? That's really really cool. I never knew that about you."
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's giving you the connection to the people, which kind of
Hmm.
brings me right into the next question for you is when I got on your YouTube video, like people
Hmm.
are really engaging with you and you're doing
Yeah.
an excellent job at engaging with them.
I
How much
try. Yeah.
do you think that plays into um, your popularity on YouTube?
It probably helps. I would at least hope that it does. That maybe somebody who gets a response from the artist is more likely to either subscribe or stick around and watch another video, or continue to come back to the channel every so often. I will say one thing: Google Translate is a wonderful wonderful thing. I don't know if you saw how many comments are not in English, but I'm like, yeah, you just throw it into Google Translate, and I answer in English, and they get the idea, which is a side note, but very very cool. But I did make it a point years ago to respond to every person, even if that was backlogged a couple months when I get busy. But at some point, to go through and respond to every single person. Now, I would probably say 50% of the questions on my YouTube are, "Do you have sheet music for this?" And I have to every single time go, "I'm sorry, no, I play by ear. I don't know how to read music, much less write it." But I still try to get to all of those comments, and just let them know, "Thank you for viewing. I shot this overhead so you could see it, but no, I don't actually have sheet music."
and that's one thing I think's really cool about you. You had posted a while back, and I don't remember which social media platform you posted, but you had posted that a girl actually had, I think she had lost an arm, and she saw you
Mhm,
playing and contacted you to see if you had music, and that
mhm,
she connected to you because of that. So many creatives look at other creatives as competition,
mhm,
um, and I liked that you were open about it. I don't feel like anyone's really competition because they're going to connect to you. So if I
mhm,
watched
yeah,
your video and I went and watched another guy do it exactly, and I left comments on both, and only you responded, I'm going to come back to you.
right, right,
How
yeah.
how do you find working with other creatives or
Working with other creatives. So I've done a little bit of collaboration, not much that's on my YouTube page. I love it. I love collaboration, especially vocalists, because I unfortunately I can't sing. I wish that I could. It's not very pretty when I try. But working with people who have that talent is really special. And I have a friend. I live in Austin, so my friend in Austin, who's a very talented singer. I love working with her. But digitally, I mean, there's a lot of people who do what I do, who play by ear, who will take popular music or music that's not necessarily meant for the piano, so either guitar based or even something like hip hop or rap. Like try to think about putting a rap song on the piano. It's interesting, right? But there's a lot of people that do this. You're right. I don't see it as a zero sum game. I like talking with those people, and especially when they engage back with you, and you can share ideas and also be like, hey, how'd you work out this weird left hand right hand rhythm thing? And then when you get a response back from that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and you can learn something. And then,
right?
and I don't know, maybe if people see that, they're more likely to engage with you too, just viewers going like, oh, this is kind of cool to see these two artists talk about a process. I don't know about you, but some of my favorite videos that I find on YouTube are, yeah, like Chris Evans does accents and talks to, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. about accents. Like those are the fun videos that I like watching.
Right.
Just but yeah.
No, sorry. I was gonna say I like um when other creatives are open with each other because you
Mhm,
have an opportunity to expand the way you think,
mhm,
and just like bouncing ideas off of each other,
mhm,
and something comes up that you wouldn't have thought about, but now you can take that idea and run with
yeah.
it. And I think that we should stop looking at each other as competition and really
Mhm.
just bounce those ideas.
Also, I don't know about you, Anastasia, but it's fun for me to talk about something that I spend a lot of time doing, B, I'm very passionate about, and C, want and don't have like a ton of other people around who speak the language, so to speak. So when you as an artist, I'm sure when you're talking to another artist about a technique or a skill, that's fun for you because it's almost like an inner circle. You have your own language of
Right.
understanding, and it's nice to talk to other people that have the same language of understanding.
Absolutely. I love that. Tell me how timing, this was something when we were speaking before, mentioned
Mhm,
how timing has really played into that. What does that mean to you? How does that work
mhm.
out for you?
So this is very specific to what I do, which is, and again, so my channel, the three types of videos that I have are either one-handed pieces, originals. Now, for those two, so one-handed original, this is not so relevant, but for just a two-handed pop song that I want a lot of people to see, that's going to drive people to my channel. If I'm the first one to cover a song, it's going to be right at the top of the search, but both not just on YouTube, but on Google or pretty much any search engine. If no one else has a cover of that song, so timing is important. So if you know when major artists are going to drop an album, especially something that gets a lot of attention for the piano. So Adele is one of these people. Coldplay is a band like this. Everybody wants to learn how to play Coldplay on the piano or Adele songs on the piano. So if you know when they're dropping an album, go listen to that album the second that it drops. Find the song that you want to cover, or maybe the song that you think is going to be the biggest hit, and cover it in 48 hours if you can. Right, and that's going to make sure that you're right up there at the top. Even if bigger accounts eventually cover that, which is more likely than not going to bump you down and down and down, and you get less and less and less, fewer people finding your video. You might get 50,000 views in the first couple weeks of covering the Adele single before anybody else. And that's just going to drive more and more subscribers. And this becomes exponential. The more people who subscribe to you, the more people are seeing all of the videos that you put out. And it's just going to increase your viewership. Do you have time for a story? I've got a story actually about timing, one that worked really well and one that really didn't. So I'll start with the one that didn't. Sean Paul came out with a song. This is probably this must have been 2015 or yeah, late 2015 or early 2016 because it was right before the Olympics. Do I have that year right? Yeah, 2016. Yeah, so it must have been early 2016. And Sean Paul had a song that I thought was going to be like NBC's Olympics song. It's about holding on to a dream. I think the song is actually called "Hold On." It's all about following your dreams, pursuing your dreams. I'm like, this is going to be a song for the Olympics. I'm going to cover this right now, and then once the Olympics happen over the summer, this is going to be huge. None of that happened. It was one of my least viewed videos because not only did that not happen with the Olympics, but the song also just wasn't very popular. But that was the thought process, right? So that one didn't work. Here's one that did. So you know the movie A Star Is Born that came out
Yeah.
last year or late 2018. Uh, Pretty early, I'm a movie guy, I'm a film buff. I thought that movie was going to do pretty well, both box office as well as the Oscars. And so I chose the song from that movie that I thought was going to be the biggest hit, and I covered it like a week or so after I saw the movie. And that song was "Shallow." And for a long time, nobody else had a Shallow piano cover, and I got tens of thousands of views within the first handful of days of it being up, just because people were going like, "Oh, they're seeing the movie, going, this song is really pretty. I want to learn how to play that on the piano." And I was the only video up there for a while, so that one worked. The Sean Paul one did not work so well, but if you can time something, especially guessing that a song's going to take off in popularity before it does, and you sort of corner the market, so to speak, on it, that's going to help a lot.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great story. And I think whether it's music or whatever you're doing, I see a lot of artists as a visual artist, they put out a Pantone color every year. And it's the color that is going to be the most popular in the interior
Hmm.
design world. And so there's
Oh, cool.
tricks like that that you can use
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, playing to, I'm seeing work right now just about the coronavirus.
Mhm.
And, whether the common theme is stress and anxiety, and so whether
Yeah.
that's playing music or just
Mhm.
connecting to people out of that, it leads into that. So
Right.
um last thing I'll have you talk about, tell me, what would be your advice, or what advice would you give to
Mm.
another creative?
Um, I think this applies to most types of creative work, or really many goals in life, is to keep doing whatever you're doing. I mentioned that I had a number of years in my life where I wasn't playing and I would say that that's if you want to pursue something, and even if that's for financial gain, even if it's for fame or popularity, whatever your goal is, whatever your why is, you gotta you gotta keep playing, keep producing, keep collaborating, whatever it is. Just keep at it. And I think, like we talked about at the start of this, I don't think many artists did this just out of pure boredom or because it was something to do. There's a strong reason behind that, and it's probably different for every single person. It's different for you than it is for me. And just to allow yourself to feed into that and continue to create, and let that driving force be why you continue to produce content or create in whatever way that you're creating. So that's what I would just say. Like, I know it's cliche, just like, don't give up, people. Don't give up on it.
I think it's really easy, if you're trying to sell your work and you're not
Hmm.
selling, or you get
Yeah.
that creative block. I've talked to a lot of creatives right now who are struggling, with the stress and anxiety of our current situation, and they're just turned off, like they can't
Mm.
create.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I think it's in those types of moments where knowing your why is really, really important.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. I like that.
know
Know your why.
back to
Hmm.
that. So, no, I love
Which,
that.
by the way, for those of you listening, if your why is purely to put food on the table, to make a lot of money, to be famous, that's a very valid why to me. It's personally not mine. I've not made a dime off of my YouTube channel, but I think that is a very valid incentive, and I think humans respond very well to incentives. So if that's your thing, hold on to it. If it's for something that's internal, about childhood or about love or about anxiety or something, that's a different driving force, but it's still a driving force that continues to encourage you to keep creating. So
Sure.
whatever it is, let that engine continue to churn. Don't let it turn off.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking
Mhm.
to me today. If they wanted to find your YouTube channel, how would they do that?
So it's my name. My first name is Stephen, and my last name is Gilbert. It's spelled a little bit weird. I don't know if you can put this in a title somewhere. Stephen with the
Absolutely.
Phguil. It's just by my name, or YouTube.com/Gilbs88, I think. But if you, yeah, Stephen Gilbert would be the easiest way to find me there.
Perfect. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let my dog out. I apologize.
Okay.
She's gonna freak out on me.
Mhm.
I knew there'd be severe barking, so I apologize for that.
No
Um,
worries.
I will put your YouTube channel up in the description. Everybody,
Cool.
please go check out Steven's work. He's an amazing creative. You can definitely
Thank you.
tell this is a passion of his. And just thank you today for sharing your knowledge, sharing your passion with us. And now my dog is apologize. This is what happens when you work from home. So,
Mhm.
thank you. And for
Thanks.
anybody listening on the podcast, I am going to have Stephen playing an original. So you can keep listening for a few more minutes. And for those who are watching the video, you can click on the link and go check out his channel. So
Thank you
thanks,
so much,
Stephen.
Anastasia. It's great seeing you.
Great
Great
day.
catching up. Yeah.